right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. One of my favorite things to fantasize about is getting a new house. That's the best way to say this. Bob Kennedy is here. He helps me fantasize a little bit. But nobody's ever said that about you, huh? And he's with Berkshire Hathaway Hometeam Realty. We're going to learn about some properties that he has on his listings, and other things. And right now, the phone lines are open if you want to call Bob. The number is 622-9622-622-WOCA. Good morning, Bob. How you doing?
I'm doing good, despite the fact that that was quite an image that you just put in my head.
I am so distracted right now. I hope I said everything right. I don't know. Well, I mean, let me get undistracted now that we can focus on your show. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Oh, good.
I just wanted to kind of start out. I got a lot of inquiries, and it's that time of year, and I think a couple of them had said they had questions when we had talked once before, and really we get a lot about the financing of a home, right, and how do you get started, and everything. And what we're starting to see is kind of the bounce back borrower, the people that had, like so many of us had gone through tough times with the recession. Right. They may have lost a house. They may have had to short sale a house. There's bankruptcies, so many things that went on. Well, a lot of those people are starting to clear those hurdles. They're starting to make money again. Yeah. And there are certain guidelines that are in effect, and really now the lenders are starting to come to be, I won't say they're bending over backwards by any means, but they're helping. There's programs out there to help borrowers get going again.
When we hear news about the foreign economies, like this morning there was a story about Japan offering a negative interest, which is kind of crazy. I guess you put money in the bank and they take it away. I don't know how that works.
I don't. That's way beyond me.
I know, but those foreign stories, do they actually affect the local market?
I don't, I'm not enough of a finance guy to know. I mean, I just kind of see what our rates are here. Mm-hmm. Sometimes in like, for instance, the Chinese were big buyers of U.S. properties there for a while their economy was booming, the dollar was cheap. And they were coming in and they wanted to buy trophy properties. They were going into properties. Metro areas. They wanted the bling bling. You have a lot of that has historically gone on in Miami, especially with South American buyers. You have unstable. You have the Russians coming in with a lot of money. It's always a safe haven, and especially if they, sometimes it's a safe haven because they want to get out of a place like Venezuela, where the economy is. So if they can get their money and run, it's always good to come to the U.S.
Yeah, they say that even though we complain about our taxes, we've got the best place. In the world, when they make money, they come to the United States. We used to go to Switzerland. Now I guess we're the place to come to.
Right. They keep coming. Come to Marion County, come to the villages.
You bring in your money, right? Yeah.
If somebody comes to you to find a house, and then and they find one through you, and then they give you just cash up front. They don't want to go through a bank or anything. They have cash. Are you required by some kind of law to report that as a total cash sale?
I have my fingers crossed with this answer. No, yes, any transaction that's over $10,000 automatically, whether you put it into a bank or anything, gets reported to the IRS.
Really?
Yeah. So a cash transaction is fine. Especially we do. A lot of that in the villages, a lot of it's retirees, and they're coming down, they've sold houses, they have some cash. You don't see that much financing. But there's the title companies involved, everything gets reported. You still are signing paperwork just like you would on any other loan.
Oh.
We've talked about before the pros and cons of being in a homeowners association, being in like a 55-plus community where you have no choice, you have to be part of the homeowners association.
Right.
So the pros and cons, I understand that. What I wondered about, though, is when you're buying that kind of property, does the bank look at the other expenses that are associated with it. So outside the
cost of the mortgage.
Yeah, outside the mortgage, you have those other expenses.
That's really, really a good question. Because if you're paying cash, then it really doesn't matter. But if you're going for a mortgage and there's an HOA fee in there, that becomes a monthly expense. So they're gonna.
Right.
So a lender is going to put that into the equation of your debt to equity ratios, just like they do the principal and interest.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would imagine. So that same house, you might be able to get outside of that, or a similar house, equal house, I guess.
We were just having this conversation with Joe, and we were talking about an area that it was $400 a month for HOA fees. And you get, and some people, obviously people like those amenities and they're willing to pay for it.
Right.
And I said that, you have to also look at the fact that, in today's rates, $400 a month, that's like $100,000 worth of a mortgage. So if you didn't have an HOA fee, you could get more of a, so those things all factor in.
Yeah. Well, see, the reason it came to my mind is because last Saturday, Robin and I we do music, and we were in this community in Lakeland that was a gated community. And it was really like seeing how the other half lives, because it was obviously these people had money.
Golf and country club,
and I said, not only do these houses cost a lot, but look at the manicured lawns. They must pay a fortune to the guy who cuts the hedges.
Sure, that's part of the lifestyle that goes with that they're selling in those communities. I mean, the newer communities, whether they're a planned community that's all ages, whether it's age restricted, whether it's 55 plus, the new communities, when you go in there, you think you've left what you're used to seeing. I mean, the pools look like you're on vacation somewhere at a 5-star resort.
Absolutely.
The workout places are. You don't see a lot of shuffleboard courts anymore in these things. It's amenity rich.
Well, we played, just so you know, we played at the country club in this community. Do you remember what it was called by chance?
I can't recall. It
was
in Lakeland,
the country club felt like a Bavarian Oktoberfest place. I mean, it had the big rafters, the wood, and it was and they had a pool right outside the door. And it was a cold day, and there were people out there. I wondered if it was heated outdoors. I don't know if they had one of those outdoor heater things.
They probably do.
I don't know, but it was just crazy to me, and envious. I was a little bit envious. Like, gosh, I'd love to live like this.
Sure,
I guess.
Sure, all you need is money, right?
Exactly.
That's all you need. You think about it.
I know, it's my ongoing problem.
Do you know,
getting enough money.
Do you know what we used to say? We used to say 2 ways to make money in the music world: either sell 1 million Baldwin pianos, which is the low price piano, or 100 Steinways. You don't need
the highest price,
or whatever the highest price piano was. So everything all right in your world? And
everything's good. If you saw in the paper last week, they talked about the median price has gotten a little healthier in our markets. I think it's up to like 122,000 or something, which is kind of amazing to think. It was only a few years ago it was down in the 80s. A couple things are the inventory is evening out. A healthy market's about 6 months, and we're somewhere close to that as far as inventory goes. And more and more people, there's just a headline this morning in the Florida Realtor Association that more and more people are now no longer underwater as far as their home values.
Well, that's good.
That's fantastic news, and that's what's leading to a lot of these people getting back into market to buy, to sell. So, it just
took a long time.
Took a real long time. We're not out of it completely. There's still going to be some foreclosures, and there's a lot less short sales and things like that. It's much better.
Those people who didn't have to move when we were at the worst part of it, but wanted to move, who waited, they're probably glad they did now.
Well, yeah. I mean, they didn't, some people, it was just a crazy bad time, but a lot of people did all the right things and still just got hurt.
Oh, really?
A lot of people were reckless, and you have the stories of people getting a $500,000 mortgage and they didn't have a job,
Oh, gosh.
But what the heck?
That didn't sound good.
Why should that stop me?
Yeah, exactly. People do get it.
right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Remember, the phone lines are open if you'd like to ask Bob a question. This is a good time to call. 622-9622. We'll be sure to give you the information on how to contact Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty on the other side of the break. You're listening to WOCA. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For Friday, partly to mostly sunny skies, cooler and less humid, the high 63 to 67. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly Friday night with lows in the low to mid 40s. For Saturday, sunshine mixing with clouds, high 66 to 70. Sunday, partly sunny, high 70 to 74. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
The Appleton Museum of Art has a full schedule this fall of studio art classes for all ages and abilities. Kids can enjoy after-school classes and special programming on school half-days and the first Saturday of every month. Adults can take everything from calligraphy to painting to wheel throwing. For schedules and class descriptions, visit appletonmuseum.org or call 352-291-4455. Bring your creativity to the Appleton Museum of Art, located at 4333 East Silver Springs Boulevard.
Hey, Robin, my friend's mother is getting out of the hospital and needs rehab before she goes home. Do you know of a rehab you'd recommend?
Sure. Our friend Jan Marino works at Palm Garden, and she's always talking about the work they do there.
Great idea. I'm going to call Jan right now. What's the number?
854-6262.
I'll call 854-6262, or I might just stop by Palm Garden. It's at the corner of 27th Avenue and 34th Street.
Great. I'll go with you.
Have you heard of Hyperdirectory? When looking for local businesses, go to hyper.directory. No need for www, no need for .com, just hyper.directory. Connecting customers to local companies when it matters most. Hyperdirectory is your local business directory partnered with the Ocala Chamber and Economic Partnership to bring you trusted local businesses. Keeping Ocala local. Use hyper.directory. No www, not even .com, just hyper.directory. Connecting customers to businesses when it matters most.
From beautiful townhomes to equestrian estates, Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Club provides the perfect haven of elegance for any homeowner. Not to mention our championship golf course, award-winning tennis program, state-of-the-art spa, and new luxury equestrian suite. We offer an array of membership options to suit a variety of lifestyles. Call 352-369-6969 today for more information about our latest real estate offerings.
All right, Bob Kennedy is here from Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty. We talk about everything under the sun. We just talked about cruises. Cruises are popular right now. And
Yeah.
I don't know where to go with that.
Good time of year.
It is a good time. When you live in Florida this time of year, the winter's basically done. I mean, we had our winter last week.
Yeah.
So this is why you moved here, right?
You're
from Jersey, right?
I'm from New Jersey. I always said I want to live in Florida long enough for 50 degrees to be cold, and now I think 50 degrees is cold.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm a happy camper.
I was recalling this morning a story when I was in my teens, which was the 1970s. I would drive the Jersey Turnpike between Florida and New York, but only that section of my drive was I stopped by the Highway Patrol all the time. Because I had long hair, I was a young guy in a ratty-looking car with Florida license plates, and they would always say, out of the car, Lawrence, they knew my real name. It was on my car. Can you open up the trunk, Lawrence? Yes, sir. What's in the suitcase, Lawrence? It's an accordion. Open it up. Oh. Have a nice day, Lawrence. Because I didn't violate anything. I guess I was profiled, So
You were profiled. You should have filed a lawsuit.
that was back then.
Does that happen in real estate?
What? Get profiled?
Profiling?
Yeah, because sometimes people, they're well-to-do,
that
have
is
money, and they just,
What you're mentioning is one of the biggest things in real estate is federal guidelines about discrimination and steering and block busting. Oh man, that's and the state. They're so serious about it. Every once in a while, a real estate agent will get a call from the state,
right?
Not knowing it's the state, and they'll start asking, "Hey," they start asking very leading questions. about wanting to be in a certain type of neighborhood, not wanting to be around a certain group of people, and they're just testing those agents.
Oh, really?
And because it is huge. It is a huge deal. We're all bound to these are federal guidelines. They're not state guidelines.
Well, in a way, it's a good thing, don't
of course
you think?
it is. Of course it is. What do you know? Because you talk about living through when you were in the 70s.
Oh yeah.
In the 60s, when the riots happened,
right.
Where I lived was a real inner city area, and we saw what real blockbusting was, where people would come knock on your door and say, "Hey, you want to sell your house because guess who's coming in down the street?" And all that stuff was very real and really bad.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and the town I lived in was pretty much all white. And take the train and go a mile up closer to the city and to New York City, and the town next to me was all black. Mm-hmm. Pretty much, except they had a great movie theater, so the white kids would go there to see movies. And it never even occurred to me that it wasn't necessarily by choice, but rather by what do you call it, directing? When
people would steer people
steering.
Well,
yeah.
you know, people don't want people of a certain nationality in their neighborhood, or the buyer cannot. Or if the buyer says, "I want to be around this," you know, we can't do that. We can only tell them, "Hey, here's what's available in your price range."
So if I say, "Do you have a neighborhood with guys who are 6'6", red hair, old?" I mean, I can't live with those guys.
And I don't know if that's considered a protected class or not. That's what a lot of it comes down to.
All right, let's see if I have a phone call coming in for you. Good morning. Oh, I put your headphones on. Good morning. You're on the air with Bob Kennedy.
Oh, morning, Larry. My question was, I wanted to get Jim George's cell phone number that you had on last hour. I was trying to write it down.
Okay, can you call the office line, please? 732-8000?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. There you go. And we'll be able to take care of that.
He's not qualified to buy it.
Do you know that was one of the things Jim was talking about with the Wi-Fi? I guess everybody has Wi-Fi in their homes now. Do we have Wi-Fi communities?
That I couldn't answer.
You don't know?
I mean, everybody's. Do they have Wi-Fi like in the clubhouses and stuff like that?
I get. Well, because he was saying he was setting up Wi-Fi in some campgrounds, and I thought, I wonder if one day everybody will just have one Wi-Fi in their neighborhood or something.
Could well be. I mean, with the amenities coming in, who knows?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. But is that part of what people look for? Like when people buy a car, it's amazing to me that they're always curious about the radio when that's got very little to do with how you get from point A to point B.
Right. It's just it's an amenity.
Does the same thing happen in real estate? Like like the fireplace or the little amenities? Does it?
Some people, you know, you never know what's gonna really. Some people really absolutely want to have a certain thing, and they won't. You know, they got to have that. Other people, if it looks good the way it's set up, they can always work around it, you know, that kind of thing. But there's, everybody has guidelines on what they want.
Yeah.
And, you know, I always say, well, make your wish list, and then we'll find as many of these as we possibly can.
I remember when my son and his wife were looking for a home. When they walked into the one that they now live in, his wife, just fell in love with it. She knew right away there was this instant connection. Yeah, this is the house I want. And of course, then you start filing the paperwork and hope that you get it. And in their case, they did. So that's got to be like the best feeling in the world right there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, it's a huge investment for most everybody when you're buying a home. It's not something that you're going to do that often. And especially if you're raising a family or going to start raising a family. I mean, those, you know, it's very emotional and it's very stressful and it's very rewarding when it's all done.
And sometimes they look ahead. Sometimes they buy the home in the beginning, then they have their family, and then when their children start moving away, they tend to think that they want to downsize and even move into a different community, not necessarily with the homeowners association.
Right. That's absolutely true. And a lot of times they don't tell their kids where they're going, so then the kids can't find them and ask for more money. But yeah, I mean, you get to the point where you don't need all the space, and especially if. But that's not easy. If you've been somewhere for 20 or 25 years, and all of a sudden, man,
Yes.
it's like wow.
Right, right.
You know, it's hard. That's
It
a hard thing.
I always look on. You know what I looked at? I looked at what's that called again?
Zillow?
Zillow, thank you.
Yes.
I looked on Zillow, and I get these notices saying, "Oh, you were looking for a house on Zillow. We found one similar to the one you were looking for." And I'll be amazed. You have a caller coming in. I'll go to it while you're talking to the caller, and I don't think they're real. I mean, some of them seem unreal, like $8,000 for a house. It just seems impossible.
It is.
Good morning. You're on the air with Bob Kennedy.
Yeah, good morning, guys. My brother-in-law they're planning on buying a home, and it's going to be very close to a school where their kids are going to be going, so it's very good for them. But down the line, would they be when they want to sell someday, would they be limiting themselves as far as having a house so close to a school because some people don't care for that?
I don't think that's going to be an issue. I mean, there's always enough people that want to be close to a school. I mean, it's very hard to find a school where if it's a good school, people want to be close to it, so it wouldn't affect them.
Would property normally be a little bit less because it's close to a school?
No. I mean, if the surrounding area is a nice residential area, it's not gonna have any negative effect.
How about the fact that right next to the school is a football field?
Well, I mean, that's one night a week or 2 nights a week, but that's up to the individual. I mean, some people don't like that, but for the average person, I don't think too many people are going to complain about it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, take care.
All right, thank you. All right, so do you use Zillow ever? Have you gone there?
Zillow is an amazing tool. Zillow's
Right.
an amazing concept. A lot, we any of the search engines that are coming out, are using that technology now. We have it ourselves at Berkshire Hathaway. Zillow is a fantastic way to search, but be really careful about the Zestimates that they use.
Okay.
And their stuff sometimes they have stuff that's gonna come on the market, isn't necessarily there.
Okay, let me read you what this says. This is unbelievable. A 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,664 square foot home. Foreclosure estimate $92,000, being sold at auction for $10,000. The estimated mortgage would be $36 a month.
Okay, well, that's an auction, so that means it's going to start at $10,000.
Okay.
And then you'll bid it up from there based on the condition of the house. And my guess is if they're starting at $10,000 and it's foreclosed, it's not in that great a shape.
So somebody loses money on that deal.
Well, they're gone. Whoever had owned it, now it's back in the bank's hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
We like to, when I go down the street and I go past real estate's office, you'll see 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and maybe a 2 or a 3-car garage.
Yes.
Is the amount of car garage a major selling point?
If you love cars or you love to tinker in the garage, it could be a big deal. Could be the most important thing.
Oh, you could have your workshop in there.
Absolutely.
Probably.
So
Oh, okay.
absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
It's an interesting business you're in, and I'm sure
Very.
each listing has got a separate part of your heart. I'm sure that you've got feelings about every one of them, right?
Well, you do because you know the owner's attached to them.
Yeah,
now, if
yeah.
you're doing bank-owned stuff, the REOs, there's not too much there. That stuff is just like the joy of that is getting it sold, so somebody's going to fix it up, and you've improved an area.
All right, Bob, what is your phone number?
622-9700.
All right, call us if you need Bob's number repeated. Plus, you can share the interview we just did. We videotaped it, and you can share it off of Facebook or off of YouTube. Thank you, Bob.
Enjoyed it as always. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio. Lillian Wu, GOP presidential candidates clashing on a number of issues in last night's Fox News Google debate, where the